Okay, so
We're up
it
and
is
you're good to go.
it is a cold, raining night in Seattle. In fact, looking up, the sky over the Puget Sound resembles the color of a Tridio set tuned to a dead channel. It's getting warmer, but that hasn't stopped the oppressive smog and the rain tonight. The air quality is, well, partially breathable, and you guys get a message from Dr. Johnson with tickets telling you that you've won an evening with him at a coffin club called the Grim Reaper. So going from left to right on the table, Boxer. Got him. Describe what Boxer looks like as he leaves his domicile and heads towards the coffin club to meet Dr. Johnson.
Alrighty then. Boxer's gonna be, when he's not trying to get through his very infrequent sleeping hours, he'll be working on his car or his drones. So he gets the call from his fixer. He says, you know what? Got a job for you. Dr. Johnson gives him the details. He's gonna just throw on his new fancy Argentum coat and Bearwick suit, which, Boxer's not used to a lot of the high class stuff, so he thinks he looks pretty goddamn spiffy right now. Boxer himself, he's 29 years old. He's not a very tall guy. He's like 5'9". He's kind of tan, just the kind of tan of, this guy is outdoors a lot ish. Not very muscled, just a very average guy for Seattle.
Understandable.
Yeah.
You're dressed to the absolute nines, though, in like a three-piece suit with a very large coat. It's getting a bit hot because summer is coming. Nothing that'll cause you anything except a sweat. You might want to take that coat off when you get to the actual club. Nightclubs tend to be very hot and sweaty places.
For sure.
Okay, so whenabouts are you arriving at the club? The Johnson hasn't give you a time. He's just sort of said, "Meet me here."
So Boxer, as soon as he gets that, he'll get his gear packed and he'll probably head out immediately after, just to get a nice case of the place.
You roll on down and you feel a chill through your spine as you go through the streets of Seattle. It's about 3 blocks away from a large pyramid glowing red tonight, emblazoned with the letters, "As Technology." 88 floors of uncomfortable, and you're not sure why, but you're exactly sure why. And you drive on past and you find this sort of shared office space. It's sort of a mixture of residential office and leisure activity, and that is where the Grim Reaper Coffin Club sits tonight. We'll skip ahead to Kit. Describe yourself and how you're getting there, what you're looking like, and anything cool.
And anything cool. Well, so just skip me then. Anyway, Kit is also a relatively average-sized and mostly unremarkable person. He's pretty solidly built. He's strength 7, so he's got some meat on him. He tends to walk with a confident step, and sort of shoulders back and whatnot. Let's see. He won't be wearing a wig, so he's got purple hair, a couple inches long. He is wearing a thin-skin mask, so he looks like a different, also ordinary-looking Caucasian man. You said this was a fancy zone, right?
It was a AAA zone, downtown Seattle, patrolled by your finest in black and red.
Alrighty. We'll wear the Berwick then. Yeah, fancy ass place. We'll wear the fancy ass shit. And we are taking whatever I never ended up choosing to replace Johnny Cab.
Yeah, you take a cab, and you sort of call up your cab contact and, go through. He turns around and says, "Rough night tonight, hey?"
Oh, why's that?
They're all over the place tonight.
I haven't been out yet today. Who's all over the?
I can look out the window, and he kind of points to a couple of largely stocky gentlemen in large black and red trench coats with mirrors like visors over a helmet. Emblazoned on their back are the letters K-E, and they're dragging away a orc vagrant who had a simple cardboard sign that says, "The apocalypse is coming." He's ranting, "The Matrix is rising up! You gotta let go, man! It's the null ass! The null ass!" They come along, Scrappy. And they're dragging him away. And your taxi driver kind of turns to you and says, "They're everywhere tonight."
I'll be sure not to loiter anyway.
And so eventually you sort of reach the same sort of like 38-story building over the Puget Sound. Valonia, hit me up.
So, Valonia is a tall elf woman. She's got very obvious, always mirror polished chrome legs to match her cyber eyes set to the standard chrome pattern. She has a fiber optic hair side cut, which is continuously shifting through the full color spectrum, and she gets the call. She's sitting in the armchair in her armory, admiring her Gauss rifle on the wall, and petting her cat, and decides, you know what, I'm gonna dress nice, and it's been a while since I've taken the motorcycle out, and so she's gonna go throw on her Berwick dress, electrochromic coated. She'll quickly set the electrochrome in sync with her hair. Grab her black helmet, go downstairs, hop on her matte black Suzuki Mirage, and take off towards the location.
Can you drive or are you grid guiding?
I can do both. When I'm downtown, I'm grid guiding, though, and she lives downtown.
Understandable. So you hop onto this...
But I am packing heat. I am carrying a pair of Steyr TMPs in one in each cyber holster.
I like it. So you hop onto your matte black motorcycle and it comes to life with a meaty sort of vibration. It's not like an engine because it's an electric motor unless you've changed that. And it doesn't even make a sound. All you hear is like the whine of the tires and the screeching as you rip out onto the night and connect with the traffic, going at about 80 miles an hour, moving seamlessly, being controlled by an AI that moves you from place to place. And you arrive there on time, taking off your rain jacket. It is raining tonight. You've got your helmet on, so you're getting the least amount of the smog in your face, the toxic pollution that hangs heavy over Seattle. And you arrive at the place. Now, Frosty, how about you?
Yeah, so after Frosty gets done with his little pregame searching and kind of poking around, seeing where he's going, he's not going to bother, gearing up too much since, running into KE carrying automatic weapons tends to be a bad time. He's going to pile into his van and head off downtown. Since he's going to a coffin club, he's feeling a little inspired, so his electrochrome on the side of his van is now playing an animated fight scene between a pair of barbarians and a horde of skeletons.
Ooh.
He's gonna go ahead, cruise on downtown. He'll pull up into whatever the parking structure is for this coffin club. Pile on out, also dressed to the nines in nice, Hawaiian print shorts, an Anderson Island surf tee, a bright red Lake Tahoe Ushanka, and an old Cass Army surplus jacket.
I love it.
In bright green slotted shade.
Very, very future chic. You sort of drive your vehicle up so the first 5 stories of this building are effectively parking. And the 5 sub-basement levels are parking because the automotive industry is evil. So you roll up and you park, and what does your van look like today?
So it's a bulldog. The side paneling is actually electrochromatic, so it's got an animated mural of these two barbarians just like mowing through a horde of skeletons. And I posted a picture in game chat for inspiration.
Most excellent. Oh fuck. So as you're driving, an ad appears on your... Well, you're not really driving. Grid Guide is driving your car. And as you're sitting back and relaxing, an ad appears. And fuck, oh god, you can't get the pop-out away unless you want to actually hack it. So, oh shit, that actually looks interesting. And a pop-up it says, Neil the Orc Barbarian 2, Blade of Dark Temptation. And an orcish barbarian, but it's actually a human in tusks who's been disguised as an orc, is running around with an axe, screaming, I will kill you, Zanzakar! Dark Dread Necromancer! And there's a whole big fight where they have to get, Neil the Orc Barbarian's posse together to fight the Dread Necromancer. And you're like, oh, fuck, I kind of want to buy this. And then you're like, wait, shit, the ads are working. And you quickly turn away. And that's when you arrive.
Neil the Orc Barbarian's for nerds. I'm a miracle shooter guy.
Oh, understandable. So I'm just gonna, for simplicity's sake, you all sort of arrive at the same time, and you enter towards... Well, you all meet up at an elevator. As you sort of all head to the building, you kind of get tapped in because you have legitimate access from the code that Mr. Johnson gave you, or Dr. Johnson. Beep, beep. And you sort of enter into an elevator. Valonia's first, and then Kit gets in, and then Boxer sort of gets in, and then Frosty gets in at the end. So you're all just kind of sitting there in an elevator. Two gentlemen who look very, very fancy in like overcoats and three-piece suits, sort of like a cyberpunk, and then Frosty.
Amazing.
What's up?
Muzak plays in the background, and the four of you are just sitting in this elevator. Yeah, so does anyone have a lot of street cred?
10.
Ooh.
Okay, so Kit, you know Valoni is a Shadowrunner. You peg her because it's like, it's probably the combat cyber limbs and punk aesthetic in like a dress. Yeah, I know this person. The rainbow hair also.
Cool. He doesn't do anything with this information.
Understandable. So, eventually, the elevator gets to the 22nd floor, where the Coffin Club is, and it opens. And then it sort of opens into an area where it's sort of like a landing, but it's also to soundproof it. So you sort of walk out, and there's a large African-American troll man who is standing there in what looks to be sort of like a suit, but he has like a skull painted on his face. Above the door, it says, "Abandon all help, ye who enter these doors." Abandon all hope.
Help.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, not African Caucasian, African American. He is from Narlands. Not going to try the accent. Shit, I should get the bingo card, because that's a fun idea. Yeah, so what do you guys want to do?
Is he blocking the entrance into the club?
He is. He is acting as almost a bouncer, you might say.
Is our invite like an arrow object?
It is, yes.
Alright, Frosty's just gonna kind of saunter on up with his hands in his pockets, flash the arrow visor object, and say, here for the party?
Come on in, man. Fuck, I tried the accent, there we go! And he sort of opens the door, and as you sort of open, you hear, like, have you ever been to, like, has your character ever heard just a guitar and drums?
Yeah, he's a Texan.
Oh, awesome. So you just hear, like, it's like a guitar and it's a mix between electro and folk. And there's a, what the fuck is that? has your character ever become introduced to a wonderful instrument called the hurdy-gurdy?
I don't think that's real big in the future country music scene.
Yeah, so as you sort of walk in, you see a four-person band, all kind of playing music, but like it's not linked up to anything, so it's not even amplified. They're just in the sort of corner on a stage, and like the singer isn't making any noise. They're just standing there, eyes like white, and just there. Are any of you able to astrally project or astrally perceive?
Nope.
Nope.
I had my soul surgically removed.
Excellent. This looks odd. Like usually in a
there's one of my
nightclub.
bingo tiles already done.
So usually, like clubs tend to have more than just a band playing music, and there's like a bartender over to the side, sort of making up all kinds of drinks. There's like revelers on the dance floor, gyrating and grinding against each other, and they're all a mixture of like different sort of magical traditions. You see shamans in rags and covered in trinkets dancing next to hermetics in wizard robes. There's a guy wearing a t-shirt that says, "I'm a magician, no, kiss me, I'm a magician," and like jeans, and he's just wearing like mirrored shades and nothing much else. There's like chaos mages who are just sitting in a corner talking to this woman saying, "So actually, universal magical theory, no, it's really interesting," and she's just trying to get away from him. Yeah, what do you guys want to do?
You said there'd be a shifty guy in the corner selling Oniro.
Oh, 100%. There's a guy in like this
Yeah.
large overcoat just kind of looking around left and right, and some guy comes up to him and is like, "Hey man, you want to get some deep weed, see the sights?" And then he sells this, a random awakened guy some deep weed so we can enjoy the fact that, half of the entertainment isn't.
So is my man, is he standing next to a wall, or is there enough room that I could skate a circle around him, doing the like feet pointing opposite directions, like lazy circle around someone type of deal while facing the whole.
He's sort of at like the bar, but you could totally sort of do a semicircle around.
Definitely gonna do that.
You Healy on in and start skating around a drug dealer in the first 20 minutes of a Shadowrun game. Magnifique. And he kind of looks you up and down and says, "What you buying?"
Oniro, my man.
You like that future, Drek, hey? I
Ain't got enough.
Roll me negotiation +4. Because this guy is very good at getting your Nero. How do I spell Oniro? O-N-E? Yes, okay. Yeah, I got some of that dream, Sage. It'll cost you, though. You got the
Oh, I'm good for it.
He kind of looks left and right and says, "Come over here. I don't show the good shit around these Mondays." As he kind of looks around at people who are just kind of asking him for deep weed and then complaining why it's just giving them a headache. And he leads you in. Yeah, he leads you into like the toilet block, and it's. So have you ever been into a nightclub toilet?
Once while they weren't open, I can imagine.
Yeah, cool. It's grotty, it's grimy. You hear noises coming from a stall that you're just like, ugh. And he kind of like pulls open his jacket and puts into his hand, and he pulls out a little like bag of green sort of plant and hands it to you, and it's like, Smoke that shit up here. You'll be seeing the future, man.
All right, I'm gonna pay the man.
Okay, paid
And take
1,250
my
million.
Nero. Alrighty.
Oh god, are you taking it now?
I might wait till after the meet.
Understandable. What are the rest of the team doing? Like, this woman in Heelys just goes directly to the drug.
Oh no, they're built into my legs.
I know, built-in Heelys.
Box is gonna extend DNI to everybody.
Everyone
Yeah,
who
you-
showed the same invite.
Yeah.
Sure, you know.
Box is just in character. Box gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?" And where are we supposed to go? Box. This is not Boxer's scene.
I recommend you get a drink and wait.
On your ticket, you do know that there are like letters C1, 2, 3, and 4, respectively. And you see that there are like these weird, those like sleep pods that Google puts into. Yeah. There's like those all around, and you see like dozens of people sort of sleeping in them, but they're like fully enclosed, so you can't just like poke in and see what's what.
And those are listed with those letters.
Yes, so you've got like each of them have like a label. So C1 is sort of like over to the. I'll post a picture in game chat.
Okay.
All right. Then in that case, Kit would say, I recommend you go find your little race car bed and take a nap.
Yeah.
If there's a bar, Frosty's first stop is to go get a drink.
Yeah, so you walk up to the bartender, and the bartender is a man who is obviously surged. You can tell he's surged because he is red and has 4 arms and devil horns. And he's just kind of looking at you and says, "So what'll it be?"
I'm gonna look over their beer menu. I'm gonna pick something preferably from the Cass. And probably super cheap for this place because, fancy beer is all like weird.
All right, do you want a powerful drink or a wussy drink?
Getting a beer.
Just a beer? Okay. You get
Like, whatever this club's version of like a Bud Light is.
Okay, so you get a midday harvest, and he sort of hands it to you, pops it, like one of the hands on the tap, one of the hands gets it, it foams up a lot, and then he pours it into like the thing, and then he hands you a beer. Charges you for your lifestyle, so don't worry about it, and that's a decent beer.
I mean, it's a foreign beer, but I'll deal with it, I guess.
Yeah,
And,
technically it's a foreign beer, because it's from the UCAS, fuck.
Yeah, fucking UCAS can't brew. And, gonna go and mosey around for a little bit. Just kinda check the place out, and I'll eventually find my way over to the coffins that were indicated.
Yeah, you stand out really obvious that you're like sort of not awakened because you're not like grooving to the tunes, and there's like a whole point where like the lead singer just kind of raises her arm, and then everyone starts like fist pumping in the air in time to like a beat that you can't hear.
I mean, I'm totally like grooving to tunes. They're just my own tune.
Yeah, it's like you're in a nightclub but you're listening to your iPod.
I fit in perfectly everywhere I go.
Okay,
I'm like a goddamn shadow.
Runner?
Boxer, are you doing anything, or are you just gonna head to the tube?
I'm gonna head straight to the tube.
They probably wouldn't care if you hotbox a sleep pod, because you see some people just smoking up with deep weed, like through the not glass, like a perspex sort of window.
Okay. So I know what I'm doing as soon as we're done talking to the Johnson.
Kit is also going directly to his tube.
Okay, so you hop into your tubes, and sort of like put it in, and then it's like the music is further away. And it's relaxing. They've got like see-through plastic glass to make you feel less sort of claustrophobic. And if you were, not a pleb, you'd project now. But alas, you're not 1% of 1%. So you're just sitting in a sleep pod. And as you sort of get comfy, you hear a voice come over speakers. And it says,
Shadowrunners, welcome. I have a job for you. I need you to steal a prototype sample from a corporation. If you think you're not Nova hot enough to handle that, there's 60,000 million in certified cred waiting to be claimed. I'm sure it will provide no issues for your capabilities. I've selected a team that I believe has the capacity to complete this job. So what's the verdict?
Kit will just sort of talk out loud and assume that either there's no negotiation or he's got a mic in here and be like, is that 60,000 lump sum escrow or creds?
Which would you prefer?
Escrow's always safer.
Naturally, the 10% fee will be coming out of your cut, though?
Well, I'm just one of us. I presume we'd either do it all in escrow or none of it. Otherwise, it defeats the point of having a lump sum.
Naturally. I can contact a reputable shadow broker and have it put there. However, they will take the 10% fee from your end.
you as in the team, not you as in you specifically.
I mean, cool. So yeah, Kit will pop over our private D&I. Let's see, how many of us are there? 4? That's 1.5K. Are you all willing to sacrifice 1.5K for guaranteed payout? Or would you rather risk taking a stick off the Johnson?
This Johnson smart. We're not going to see him. Nah, we're taking the escrow. This guy's going to fuck us if we don't.
Yeah, I don't trust magic bullshit.
That's a sacrifice we're willing to take for safety, Dr. John.
Good. I'm glad I hired professionals. So, are you willing to take the mission?
You cut off in the middle of that sentence.
Are you willing to undertake this mission, then?
I, out of character, in the 3 minutes that has been, have already forgotten what he said the job was. Steal something.
Steal
Prototype from a corporation.
prototype something from a corporation.
Prototype sample from a corporation.
Samples, that was it.
Is this a sample of something that might kill us if we don't take good care of it? Or is this a sample of something that has hardy?
It will provide no issues for you.
Alright, now, from some corporation, give me a rough guesstimate of how many A's, if any, it has.
It is a joint venture between an A and a double A corporation.
Is the joint venture being hosted on ET grounds? Is the double A providing?
I'm sure you'll be able to find that out.
How long do we have to do this job?
I want the prototype in my hands. I don't care how long it takes. Though if you keep me waiting, another team potentially could snatch it from you. So do not delay.
Is this the sort of sample that might be doing lots of changing, moving around, or whatnot, or is this a sample that's just being hosted and held for some reason? This
It is being held in a stationary laboratory.
He?
Oh, it. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Good pickup, though. I could have said he. That would have been a good fucking, cat.
Yeah, I thought. Oh, like this is it half horse man? Question. I don't want to run
Greater or
into
lesser centaur? Anyway,
that. Yeah.
Are we going to need anything special to transport it? Like, is it bigger than a bread box?
It will be able to fit into an envelope.
is this a sample that the hosting corporations might be anticipating someone might want to come and steal, or is this something that only you have realized the importance of?
It is shrouded in secrecy. My informants tell me that they'd believe their information, or they believe that the opposition does not know that their secrecy has been shattered.
Over DNI, Kit will be like, I generally agree, Valonia. Let's see.
The ask seems a little low.
Yeah, we're all very concerned that this isn't enough money.
Well, yeah, thus agree, pressing for higher pay. Oh, let's see. There's 4 of us. 60K. Let's maybe try and pop it up to 72 lump, and he'll pay the search.
Sounds
If you
fair.
if you can accomplish that out of him, more power to you.
We'll give it a go. All right, Dr. Johnson. This job sounds possible, but between ET grounds or likely ET grounds, if you don't know, then that's a different sort of danger. If you're not telling us, that means I'm going to assume it's ET, as well as some of the problems that can come up when dealing with a shrouded in secrecy project. We're going to want a little bit more on the ask. I'll counter propose you at 72 lump and have you pay the escrow surcharge.
This is really fair, Mr. J. I mean, you're expecting heavy resistance if you're contracting a name like myself.
Valonia, you can roll to assist, including your street cred to Kit, and then Kit, you can roll negotiate.
The whole thing, my whole street cred.
Yep,
Fuck yeah.
Hot damn.
street cred is powerful, dude. Valonia has a lot of sway.
Let me look at my
Nice.
social limit. My social limit's only 4, but actually it's higher because I'm
In a suit?
no.
Street
He
cred.
can't see my dress, so I don't know if that raises my social limit for that, or if that's a you feel better. No, it's a must be visible. So I keep 4 of those.
Well, we
Street
don't know he
cred, though.
can't see you. There might be a camera.
Let's go with 4 and just,
Just 4 more for me?
Mhm.
Oh, let me make sure I'm not leaving any notifiers on the table because I haven't played Kit in a while. No, it looks good to me. Fuck it. We've got plenty of time. Hold on, what's my social limit? Oof. Fuck it. I will go ahead and re-roll my misses. We've got time. I can.
This is the most important role.
Give him more money, please.
Give more money.
All right, 8 hits total.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
Look, you had a good valiant effort, so as like a tie, so you don't. I believe the payment for this job is. Sorry.
The payment for this job is industry standard. However, I can offer you a counter proposal. You will need to still pay the fees for the shadow broker, but I can provide my man to handle some expenses for you if you require anything for this job. Is that agreeable?
How much are you talking for expenses?
Keep it reasonable.
I can work with that.
Good. Then do we have an agreement?
I'm in.
Yeah, fuck it.
Sure, why not?
Sounds like you have a team, Dr. J.
Good. Good. The corporation you will be hitting is a company called Bacteria Tech. Their local office is within the Seattle sprawl. They're working with a joint venture with Unlimited Technologies Limited. They are working on something called Project Delta. You are to infiltrate this facility, get me a sample of Project Delta, and provide it to me untampered.
Project Delta?
Yes.
And do you know where they're working on this?
I'm sure you'll be able to find that out. It's on their company website. Or the equivalent of what a website is.
Good.
Uh, Is this Delta where? Is this Delta bacteria? What is this?
All I can tell you is they are keeping it under lock and key, and all I know is that it is very valuable to them. However, I do not expect it to be an issue for you.
No, we're bombed, but we need to know what it is we're grabbing. But I guess we can find out some of that. Is there only one sample that you need, or are there multiple?
One sample should be enough. However, if you can provide more, there may potentially be additional remuneration.
On DNI, that's our in. That's the cash.
Do they have their own security contract, or do they contract out?
They have contracted it to Knight Errant Security.
You know who has their cleaning contract?
The voice is like pauses for a moment and says,
I'm sure you'll be able to find that information out perfectly by yourself.
I'm sure. Alright, over DNI. Anyone else have any pertinent questions for Mr. I'm sure you can find it out?
He said it's going to be on their web page, so I'm going to go try and find their destination host and see, just quick browse what this might all be about.
yeah, roll me a quick tier 1 metric search. So the building is located on the shores of Lake Washington in Bellevue, and it's part of Corporation Row, which is effectively the entirety of the Bellevue shoreline of Lake Washington is effectively fucking corporate mega structures and office buildings and wage slave housing. Everyone wants a good look at the water and a beachside sort of like, well, it's not really beachside because no one can swim in it, but a waterside office. So Corporation Row is one of the largest sort of corporate districts in the area.
Okay, and the Project Delta that he said would be on their webpage, what does that say?
That's not on their webpage. He's saying that is where, like, the laboratory where there's a joint venture between Unlimitech and Bacteritech is going to be.
Okay. Go ahead and
blazes up.
I am not more addicted to a Nero.
Okay, so you do the future. So anyone who doesn't know what a Nero is, it's future telling weed. So you puff and Valoni is out for the moment. She starts drooling.
6 minutes.
She starts drooling and noises will come from it, but luckily these pods are soundproof.
And based on current hub rules, I can do literally nothing to interpret this because I am not awakened.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll give you a cool idea of like vision, but it'll be.
I'm ready for it.
But we'll finish the rest of the meat first. Any other questions for Dr. Johnson?
We can handle the rest.
Okay.
Nothing for Mr. Johnson.
So, Valonia, you're back in Chicago, except you're surrounded by people staring at you. What? The smell of gasoline heavy upon you. You look down and you're holding a match. And you light yourself on fire. The fire licks at you and burns, hurting you, but it also cleanses. And then you're falling. You look up and see a GMC Banshee flying away. You've thrown yourself out of the Banshee, still on fire, heading towards the ground, and the whooshing turns into a screaming, turns into a buzzing drone, and then suddenly you're screaming, oh God, you're on fire. It hurts so much. And then you wake up and feel light surrounding you. And you just see knights in shining armor screaming and charging into the darkness. And then just darkness. Then you wake up covered in sweat and like you've grabbed your cyber leg and popped open and are just looking at the battery and have just been looking at that battery for a while.
All right. So
that lasted 8 minutes of just. That was not a good trip.
No, that's my worst Oniro trip so far. I don't know about that. It's probably a close tie with the being dragged under a lake.
And strangled to death? Yeah, probably. Cool. Yeah, so the speakers sort of like stop making that like buzzing noise that happens when someone is like holding down a push to talk button.
Okay, so it wasn't insect spirit buzzing.
No. Like in your
no chittering.
Your spirit realm was just your spirit realm. You have no idea what happened there, but there was like just a light sort of drone coming from speakers as if someone was transmitting dead air. That has just stopped after Dr. Johnson has obviously seen that you have no more questions. And while you're like freaking out a little bit, he says, "Good. there's a number at. No, go to the barman and ask for Nitro's number.
Go to the barman, ask for Nitro's number. He is my man who will be able to get you what you need. If that will be all, good luck, Shadowrunners.
Really want to imagine that he forgot to mask his voice for half of that.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic as a
Look,
visual.
Wait, shit.
When Gotham is in ashes, then you have my permission to run.
Bob
You
just
know,
needed
attention
his mug.
to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens to your body without fiber?
So yeah, you're now like acutely aware that you're in. It's not like the most comfy of places. Just in a. Some of you have spent many a night in one of these fine machines for the working class and the poor, but you then just hear like everyone start clapping as if a performance is finished, and then continue to like clap along to a beat that you can't quite hear.
All right, well,
Boxer's.
Well,
just gonna
you
be
hold
like,
on there, Valonia.
Can we
You
get
got
out of
some
these
time.
fucking tubes? Yeah, you're tripping your ass off right now.
for 8 whole minutes.
Holy
Everyone
shit!
gets out and has a look. You just see like screaming at like the speaker, just like incoherent, and then looking down at her cyber legs and just scratching at it, pushing at it to find where the battery sort of is, and just looking at it. She pulls it out at one point and just kind of puts it to her face and licks it, and then puts it back in and pops it there. Then she sort of like shakes awake and stares up, and you see that a couple of your teammates are looking down at you, and you're like, "This is fine."
Hey, we've all been there.
I'm gonna need a drink after this.
Do you want a strong drink or do you want a
I
wussy
want
drink?
a strong drink.
Excellent. So you go up to the barman and say, "I just want I need something strong," and he goes, "One wretch coming up," and he effectively gets this shot of what looks like bilge water, but it doesn't. You're pretty sure it's not bilge water because he gets 4 like different spirits, puts them together, and then waves his hand over it with a cheeky smirk and hands it towards you.
Damn. I'll down it.
Oh, whoa, that kicks you around a bit. Like, it feels like your throat's on fire. And then you cough up literally a bit of fire. And the barman smiles and says, and takes your nuyen, which is covered by your lifestyle, unless you're squatter, in which case,
Nope.
Cool.
Just what I
I mean,
needed.
since I have this nice comfy sleep tube for right now, I'm gonna run a couple of matrix searches, and I'm going to demand they play Freebird, even though they probably can't hear me from inside the tube.
Play Freebird! And you just see someone like hitting the inside of a thing, trying to like they can't even see you. Like the lead singer, like her eyes are just glazed over and like up, like Bran in Game of Thrones. Just completely. All right, so roll me some of that matrix. What cyber deck do you have?
That's a good question. I am on a Hermes Cherry.
Okay, you jack into this Hermes chariot and lie back. You doing this via?
No, I'm just doing an AR.
You feel the thrum of the Hermes sort of like kick to life. Ooh, dirty girl. You load it up and the Hermes logo starts floating and you see a large expanse of emerald line stretching into an infinite black landscape with icons and hosts floating around, and you sort of scroll on through and you're looking for Bacteritech and Unlimitech. Cool. So Bacteritech is the company that is best known for the creation of fat astral bacteria, which was eventually perfected and turned into fluorescent astral bacteria. they also perfected Fab 3. And that's where they've been mostly getting their money. They have patented Fab, and they effectively manufacture it, sell it to other corporations as a security measure, and have massive vats of the stuff. And their Seattle headquarters, so they're they're also one of Ares' prime research corporations.
Are they an Ares subsidiary, or are they just like working in partnership?
They are Ares subsidiary and have been Ares subsidiary since like the 2050s. They were once the crown jewel in Ares' crown, but have since been snubbed and had funding cut and all that kind of stuff. Their Seattle facility is one of their primary research and development stations on the west coast of the former United States. It also doubles as a manufacturing facility, where large vats of bacteria are grown, tested, and then shipped. Unlimitech is a bit weirder. Unlimitech are Ares' other research corporation, though they have a less than stellar reputation. Effectively, Unlimitech is a magic tech subsidiary which has heavy Boston presence. It is focused on finding new ways of controlling the, astral realm, and they're very big on magical weapons.
So what you're saying, we're going to get fluorescing astral CFD.
Oh my, fuck, holy shit, that would be a good meme.
All right. Go ahead and compile all that up and pass it on to the rest of the team. Shouldn't take me more than a minute or two to do that.
Yeah.
How long do T3s take?
Running browse, like 7 minutes, and then divided by hits over 3.
15 minutes divided by hits over 3.
Yeah.
So about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
You're very fast at
Should only
looking
take a
into
couple
it.
minutes.
8 minutes.
So you finish your matrix search as Valonia starts coming back to the land of the living, and you have no idea what the fuck that means. But I kind of want to see what Valonia thinks it means with her puny, non-magical brain.
Well, first, I need to rack my brain about conspiracy theories about Ares, because those were knights, and I'm hearing the phrase "Knights Golden Boys" in my head, and so we're gonna do a little bit of conspiracy theory knowledge rolls.
I'm just gonna DNI. I had a run-in with Ares the other week. They were trying to open some kind of portal in magic space. It was not good.
Ares was trying to do it, or one of their subsidiaries was trying to do it?
It was Ares.
Like, the AAA Ares was trying to do this.
Well, okay, we didn't see them. Some homeless people told us that they saw the Mohawk man on the side of the van. That kind of situation. That.
So there's a lot of conspiracy theories going around about Ares at the moment. Do I need to repeat them for you?
No.
Take your pick. In fact, there's an entire book on them. Like, 4th edition has a book called Conspiracy Theories, and there's like a chapter about Ares.
I do not have that one handy, unfortunately. Oh.
Shh. Fuck, its front cover is great. It's just a picture of a guy in like spandex looking at a murder scene with a sniper rifle, and in the background is just a fucking dragon over a mountain. Shadowrun's wild. Fuck. Oh god, I've this beautiful piece of art. Okay, yeah.
Get back to me, probably.
Yeah, we'll get back to Valonia. She's dealing with some shit right now.
Well, I guess if we're not doing anything else right now, I'll go ahead and poke around also and see what kind of host is present on the Matrix for that lab that we're supposed to.
Okay, roll me a Matrix Perception. Yeah, you also have a really big migraine, Valonia. It hurt. So you can ask me a bunch of questions, and I guess the question is, what's the rating of the host and what's its attributes? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a couple of them.
Okay, so it is a rating 7 host with attack of 9, sleeves of 7, dead processing of 10, firewall of 8. It is a data host, because I wrote this before kill code came.
Yeah,
Not just making up your run on the fly.
Look, data hosts are still valid.
Okay. Yeah, it's an R7. What grid is it on? Is it on the Ares grid?
Funnily enough, yes! It is on the Ares grid.
Do I have access to the Ares grid? I thought I did.
You can get access to the Ares grid by using multi-grid drifting. Effectively, hackers have figured out a way to make grids basically irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Kill Code was a good book.
I think I actually have like legit access though to that grid.
Holy shit! You an Ares shill. Excellent, that'd be good.
Oh no, I dropped it. I had it at one point in character creation.
Yeah, so you can like float on over there and like poke around. Basically, at the moment, grids exist as a way for the GM to tell you information about the company. Because companies can't do piracy to do their business because they get sued. So it's less of an issue for hackers.
Alright, well, it's an Ares subsidiary working with an Ares subsidiary on the Ares grid. I think Ares might be involved.
Protected by Knight Errant.
Yeah, I'll reiterate my semi-run-in with Ares is not great.
Well, I'm not going to do anything to an R7 host sitting in a public place where I don't want to hot sim, so I think I'm about done with that host for right now. How about Unlimitech? Does Unlimitech have a host that's connected to something here in Seattle?
Yes, but no. Unlimitech, so you start looking into it, and you're like, oh yeah, this is like a publicly owned corporation. It should be... What? They've just got like a website or like a destination host, and you look into it.
A P2.1 page?
Yeah, and you look into it, it's like, why are there not more like posts here? And then you start to like come to the realization, like it's not like their presence has been deleted. It's like, oh, these guys are nut jobs. Oh no, do you have Matrix security or something that would talk about Matrix design or architecture?
I have all sorts of stuff. I have security procedures with a specialty in the Matrix.
Perfect, hit me with that.
I have software engineering with a specialty in security software. I have corporate politics.
Hit me with a corporate politics and one of the two from the above. Yeah, conspiracy theories is great. They basically did threats, but said, yeah, let's make it even crazier, and GMs can decide which is real and which isn't. So security procedures, weird. It looks like they don't have any of their R&D stuff on the Matrix, which is odd because, like, being able to connect to the network of things and use collaborative, communication is sort of good. And then you realize, you figure out what Unlimitech do. They do black research. they do the stuff that they can't like post about because it's like, yeah, so we're testing bioweapons on human subjects. Isn't that like illegal?
I mean,
What?
defining illegal.
We own this ground. It's fine. Isn't it unethical? We fired our ethics board 20 years ago. It's fine.
And everything is bugs.
All right. Duly noted. What level of search would I have to do to start compiling a list of people we know are connected to this bacteria tech and unlimited technologies here in Seattle?
Probably rating 3. I can give you some names of people.
Yeah, I want to start just compiling a list of people in case, we need to reach out and touch someone.
Reach out and touch faith. Ah, yes, I wrote in my notes a social avenues and who's who section, which is an entire page. Bueno. Excellent. All right, so you know the following names just by scanning the 6-word equivalent of LinkedIn, linked up, I'll say, or jacked in, but that seems a bit odd.
Do we have any indication of their roles in the organization? Oh, there we go.
Some of them you do.
Oh man, we don't have anyone who can sense. We can't figure out if any of them are bugs.
Yeah. I'm gonna
go get a super squirt, load it up with insecticide, and see who screams when you shoot them in the eyes with it. If they scream, they're a bug. Shoot them.
I think we all scream at that point.
For ice cream?
Yeah. So I'm gonna just, boxers. Any of you guys do magic shit?
While they're chit-chatting, I'm just going to T3 all of those people now and see if I can't get some more information about them.
So
Better
Notbob,
question.
when I leave the club, the coffin club, I'm hopping on my motorcycle, and as soon as I'm out of downtown, I'm manually driving to just places I can drive at high speeds to clear my head.
Understandable. You've been doing.
You don't have to respond to me yet. You can deal with that.
Did we lose Notbob, or is
No, I'm just typing.
Oh,
sounds good?
You know,
While you're typing, then
don't break stride for me. You can go ahead and deal with them while I get all the rolls up.
In response to the question about who's magic, Kit will say, better question. What's everybody do? I'm Kit. I'm an infiltrator. I talk. I pick locks. I can punch someone if I need to. I get into places.
Well, I collect data and formulate plans and demolish opposition.
Anybody else care to share with the class?
Well, Frosty's been spoon-feeding you guys data just randomly throughout the club scene here, but he's busy right now and is not responding.
Tech guy.
Felonia will get back to you when she's done with her head-clearing motorcycle trip.
Great.
Yeah.
So there'll be a pause before Kit's like, great. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, we've already seen one of our runners freak the fuck out in a magic tube, so it's going great.
It's fine. We're not in a rush. X Firewatch. Interesting.
Fuck it. I figured out what she's gonna come up with, as how she's interpreting that, based on the information she's being spoon fed by Frosty. So Valoni will get back to you. Yeah. All right. When I was in the tube, may have done a little near a little dream stage. Had a vision. All right. Now, I'm not great at interpreting these, but based on the information you guys have fed me, what I already know about this stuff, and the little bit of foresight I've had, I think we're going to be. I think we're dealing with an attempt to create awakened individuals. So be on the lookout for that.
Neat.
Hmm.
So, share with the class. What do you do?
Oh, I'm your heavy hitter here. Physical Overwatch.
Swell.
Man, I really hate crazy magic shit.
The best part is none of us know that she has no idea what the fuck she's talking about.
Yeah.
We only suspect she has no idea what the fuck she's talking about.
Right?
Well, Boxer's one of those guys, you know, he knows what he knows, and he knows that he does not know shit about magic. So he will basically believe whatever you say.
Alright, so let's see here. Actually, hold on. Is that public? Is it public knowledge that Firewatch is sort of being exterminated? Pun intended.
No, but they've been shut down. But she was like ex Firewatch from the 2060s, like 20 years ago, and then she moved out. So she hasn't been in Firewatch for like at least 2 decades at this point.
Alright, I don't think I know that. Never mind.
Yeah, you know stuff like the Ares Excalibur was an inside job. And that Damien Knight is actually trying to assassinate Arthur Vogel, and that's why Arthur Vogel has gone missing. But you don't know, anything else.
All right, so never mind on that. In. I feel like the neo hippie is a. I don't think red herring is the right word, but something. Honeypot?
Counter psyop. Fuck.
Yeah, counter psyop. There we go. I don't trust Tony Bahama. I just read his name. What the fuck, man? I love it. Amazing.
That is an amazing.
Dude, Frosty's already looking up buying that as a fake sin.
All right, so we'll kill him for you, so you can take his sin.
I need to step away from it. I'll be right back.
It's like an advanced version of killing someone for a pair of shoes.
I need your face.
Shit, I didn't even realize that one works on multiple levels, with slang for ID makers being shoemakers.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, all right. None of these guys jump out at me as obvious worm. Or
Is
that's not the right
just-
word either.
Yeah, this is just from a bunch of T3
Yeah.
surgeons. So you're not going to get the best information, but you're going to get people who are not foolish, but have put where they work on public data sites.
Yeah. I mean, like I said they don't immediately jump out. In any case, all right, let's see. Let me pull up the damn. Where did you say these guys were again?
They are in Kirkland, Bellevue on Corporation Row, effectively on the shore of Lake Washington.
Sort of near the Silver Fools on the 1W6.
Yep, about there.
Splendid. Oh, so that's only an A zone?
Yeah, mostly because all the other corporations are effectively spending so much on their own private extraterritorial corporate security that KE and Lone Star generally don't need to go there because there's so many conflicting
Security
jurisdictions. Yeah. They
That makes
tend to
sense.
have a lot of people there anyway who could just shoot criminals. And as a note, yeah, Lone Star is actually the main patrol force there as opposed to.
Interesting. That's because Knight Errant is a more interesting cop company. Anyway, might be worth having a little drive around over there. Who's got a car?
I can switch vehicles and pick people up.
Well, Boxer will do his thing. Are we all headed out?
It depends. You guys can all sort of head out if you'd like, or you can sort of head out one by one. That's up to you guys.
I mean, I've got the most armored truck if anyone wants to come along. But I don't like loitering around in AAA zones in a Roadmaster.
Okay.
I don't really care which one of you drives around. I just want to go take a peek at the area.
Okay. So anyone who's driving around can feel free to roll perception to sort of scope the.
Can I do E-War for that?
Yes, you can.
Alright.
As you start driving through Bellevue, you see it changes from the mega structures of downtown. You find the white picket fences and the upper class areas, the McMansions and the large sort of playgrounds for the rich. You quickly go to a Corporation Row. Hundreds upon hundreds of corporate structures dot the side of Lake Washington, overlooking out it like a disgusting monument to capitalism. You start driving past, you see Shiawaze, you see Nraku, you see a big, off in the distance, gigantic tower that just is the Knight Errant headquarters for all of Seattle. And you see air taxis and helicopters flying in and out, SWAT teams moving around. It's a buzz of activity. You drive on by and eventually you sort of spot the Bacteritech corporate facility. It is 18 floors tall, and there is definitely they've actually gone ahead and bought a dreckload of space around the area. So on the map, I shall draw for you what it looks like. It's not letting me move the map. Roll20 is a good system.
Do you have the right key select?
I do now.
Hooray! Boxes.
So does anyone here have a flying drone or a fly spy?
I do. Usually use my noise mosquitoes for simple recon.
God, that's disgustingly bright. I'm gonna do a different.
What? You gotta get dark theme Discord. That's the money.
What are you laughing at?
Fucking Valonia.
Yeah, Valonia knows a little Latin, apparently. I don't remember when I bought that.
I'm
Whack.
sure it was useful.
Cool. So I'm just looking at this area. Okay, so you have a classic corporate facility. I'll sort of just hit you up with what it looks like. So the Bacteriatech facility is 18 stories tall and surrounded by a corporate lawn. It's on extraterritorial ground, and you can definitely see that from the large fence that says, "Warning, you are entering on Ares property. Our guards have been given the order to shoot to kill. No trespassing." Can I have someone? Does anyone here have knowledge about security corporations?
I think I do. Hang on. I do. I've got security companies.
Yeah, roll that.
I have good mental dice.
Okay. That's not usually Knight Errant's modus operandi, because they're usually a bit nicer about that. Like, Knight Errant usually focuses heavily on having good PR. And you know what's really shit for PR?
Shoot to
Killing
kill.
teenagers who snuck over the fence and were just goofing around.
Smoking the
Weird.
Reaper.
So the building is on the shore of Lake Washington, as I said. So the exterior fence there, which is this little red thing, is a chain link fence. And it looks like it has just regular old standard barbed wire. It is 3 meters high. Behind it is a 3 meter tall plascrete wall. Can I get... no, you already rolled perception. You spot on the plascrete wall, there is also monowire there. Yikes. And that is where the extraterritoriality properly begins. But, like, technically, extraterritorial is weird. Oh, sorry. Outer chain link fence is where the extraterritoriality really begins. But the real security is behind the fence. Patrolling this sort of no man's land between there is a pack of what looks to be 12 or so hellhounds that have been just sort of wandering around. And you sort of see that there's like grates leading to tunnels where they can sort of go towards a kennel and come out.
Can I roll
said-
animal handling as a knowledge skill?
You certainly can.
Cool. Would you
Can I
like me
roll
to not?
parazoology?
You also can, yes.
Would you like me to not use charisma?
Yeah, use intuition.
All right, cool.
But what are you trying to learn about them?
I'm trying to learn how, like, fiercely loyal they are versus like how prone they are to like, ooh, you brought me steak. If that makes sense.
Understandable. Yeah, how easily bribed they are.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, how to deal with them from a practical standpoint is what I'm concerned with. Whether I'm gonna be better shooting them or distracting them with something else.
The hellhound is a meta-species of the German Shepherd dog, standing about 90 centimeters at the shoulder and weighing about 145 kilos, so they are big boys. Their coats are as black as coal and their eyes are red-rimmed. They're pack-hunting predators, typically hunting small game to the size of deer, though they're not above scavenging if the situation calls for it. They're not afraid of going after larger animals as well, including metahumans, if they have the numbers. They are popular as security animals, especially in isolated facilities and rural areas. You can attempt to bribe one with an animal handling plus charisma test versus its willpower plus logic. If you succeed, then you can sort of kind of like a spirit, like you can give it commands, but like you can't tell it. You're not the owner, so you'd be like, nice doggy, and if you threw it something, they might eat that instead. So you could totally feed them steaks, but you'd have to make sure they don't bark at you. And it's a lot harder to do that to a group of dogs than it is to one.
Makes sense.
From a practical standpoint, their hide is heavily armored, and they are immune to fire. They also can shoot fire and have a very nasty bite. So fireproofing your stuff would be a legitimate strategy. Magic perception, you do spot there are cameras outside. Yes, there are cameras all over the domain. I'll sort of get back to that. So you see that within the interior wall, there is sort of like housing, because it's a rather thick wall, which sort of like peters out in sort of one of those designs where it's hard to get a foothold, but like they can have a very strong base, meaning it's very difficult to like ram through it. And in one of the larger places, it looks like there's a drone port for a large drone on the ground to exit from. And it looks like they can pop out from either section of the wall. Attached to the wall are large spotlights, flooding the area with bright light, making sneaking difficult. Anyone here have knowledge about security design?
Small unit tactics?
No,
I have security
I
procedure.
do not.
Those are solar-powered, obviously solar-powered light bulbs, meaning they will almost never go out. And in fact, you are strongly sure that those lights are basically never going to fail. If you make it not a crit glitch, you have no idea what's going on, but like shooting them would make it darker, I guess. Inside the facility is a lovely garden with like, and that's sort of like this area inside with that. I haven't got to the pond yet. There's large rocks that double as aesthetically pleasing bollards and can look like they can sort of stop some bullets for the security. Very specifically designed for an interior force to shoot back at someone coming in. And a large airy centerpiece is sort of in the middle of it. Surrounding the facility itself is a large artificial lake that is glowing blue in the night. You zoom in with your enhanced eyeballs and see, it's glowing because there's a bunch of jellyfish in there. Like a lot of jellyfish in there. Whack. Like it's so dense it's hard to see past them. The only legitimate road is through the southern perimeter, which has tight turns, and then it goes down into a tunnel, sort of like where it ends here, underground. You're not sure where it goes, but it looks like there's a checkpoint at the start where you need a card reader and to be waved through by a security guard. There's an area beyond the northern perimeter, which is sort of out here, which has like some parkland and just other sort of like swing set equipment and all that kind of stuff, but it's sort of further off. There's some, if you were to use one, you could potentially use one of the trees as like a launching zone to jump into the no man's land, but you'd need to get like a 3-meter jump.
Was it this side for the lake? Or the...
So the lake
bay?
is on the the west side, so this side.
Cool.
And finally, I should mention that the western sort of area in here, geese actually are roaming it and sort of like just going and wandering around.
The most fearsome guard animal.
Oh yes. And I've bloody bothered that. The western side has an artificial hill. My bad. And then over here is the geese. So the eastern side is where the geese are. And there's an artificial hill that provides a solid approach to coming up to the lake while avoiding a lot of patrols. And it looks like they've built it as sort of a roof for whatever is underground the cars are leading to. Can I get another perception roll from anyone who is... You have to be having a flying drone in this case. You can also use a electronic warfare if you would prefer.
I will roll at E-Warfare.
I have a flying drone. Do we have to launch our own flying drone, or does somebody have one over there already?
I'll have one, and I'll feed y'all through the feed.
All right, I'll E-War into it.
Sounds good. Okay, you guys spot that on the hill, oh god, it's almost entirely pressure meshed. They've got so many pressure meshes that you would need to like move very slowly through it to avoid starting an alarm. And a pressure mesh is effectively, imagine pressure sensors hidden by like sort of camouflage material placed on the ground. So they can detect whenever someone is standing on it. And it obviously seems that geese don't trigger it, probably because geese are very light. There are 12 cameras from previously, like the electronic warfare, the matrix perception. I got back to you, watching over the grounds. A few of them are mounted on garden rocks, some on the external wall, and some on the facility itself, and they seem to be pretty static. Also, the internal wall has obvious gun mounts sort of inside, so that if someone was moving in, taking cover, they could get shot in the back from the wall itself. And with that all said, only 3 guards are actually patrolling the perimeter. And they are actually actively avoiding the geese. And it's currently nighttime, so a lot of the lights are off. Previously on your search, you know that Mercury Cleaning Services handles the cleaning sort of stuff, and they have, and they're basically an industrial cleaner because you want to be able to make sure that the vats for all the bacteria you're growing shit in are sterile.
Hey, Notbob.
Yes.
Are there any good sniper perches around here? That
Yes,
look into
in
the
fact.
site?
Yeah, actually. There's sort of it looks like some of the gun ports are higher up on the wall for some reason, as if to give more sightlines and view.
Oh, I mean from outside the facility. Like if one of us wanted to shoot in.
Potentially, if you got onto, because there's like a corporate like facility next door, and then another one next door because Corporation Row. One of them is a is sort of like an Ares branded what's the word I'm looking for? It's Ares Consumer Products Lifestyle Package. It's effectively wage slave housing for mid to upper class wage slaves. So that is about a 14-story building with just sort of like not extraterritorial because it's just like housing facility. And to the right, there is a building owned by, what's the word I'm looking for? So the next door one is a sort of like collaborative shared workspace. And this is a mixture between General Dynamics, Leviathan Technical, Lifescape, and Quick Trigger Systems. All of them Ares tech corporations in another corporate tower. It's just like a large corporate tower. It doesn't have like a fucking facility entry wall or anything like that. It's got like a wall around it because of extraterritoriality, but it looks like the tech company is spending way less money on actual physical security. And the roads look big enough that shipments of large sort of trucks can sort of go in there and pick up trailers worth of goop.
Okay, so there's potential places I could set up with a Gauss rifle and provide support if it comes to that in planning.
Yeah, potentially, though, it would be difficult and you might be on your own, and like Knight Errant are offering like security to the other boys down there. It looks like Ares has just sort of bought a large strip because they don't want any of their like actual serious officers next to an opposing corporation, just in case a corporate war was to break out.
That's fair. Corp wars are a mess.
All right, so what are we thinking here?
Well, so we've got a target. We've got a few ideas, I guess. So we know they're cleaning company, right?
Yeah.
And it's an industrial tier. What kind of vehicles would they be rocking?
Funny you should mention it. Probably a step fan of some description.
With a bitching mural on the side.
Probably not a bitchin' mural. Probably something more boring and on brand.
Man, I never get to drive around with the mural on.
How many people does your step van sit?
6, I believe.
Alright. We have potential in and
I feel it's pertinent to warn you that if anybody investigates my van, it will not pass as an industrial vehicle. As the interior of my van is decked out with bright orange shag carpet and individually spinning like pleather seats and like a Valkyrie module and stuff.
Oh.
I love it.
Yeah.
But, so long as you keep the curtain closed between the driving section and the rear, like it, totally looks like a legit.
May have to fix that one then.
It's an idea. I think we need a lot more research to figure that out.
Yeah, for sure. The next bet I think would be to find some kind of floor plan if we can.
Yeah, so let's compile a list of questions. I'd love to know a floor plan of what the fuck's going on down there. I'd love to have like a personnel list, or maybe at least like let's go with personnel list. maybe if the guards use some sort of like animal pheromone to identify them to the hellhound.
Roll animal handling as a knowledge skill again. So it doesn't look like you're using animal pheromones. It looks like they're just sort of training dogs as if you would train any normal security animal.
Gotcha. What's a bummer? That would have been a good idea.
I need to do more games with Basilisk security defense. That's always a good meme.
Still, there might
Also, I realize we've gone past it, but I rolled a parazoology about the glowy jellyfish.
Mhm.
Did I get anything with one hit? Because
They're not awakened.
all right, that's good enough for me.
This would be just a regular common ore garden. So while
Don't have those.
fucking geese. I feel like I normally have more questions and I can't come up with them right now. All right. Let's see. Barriers to entry right now. We've got the doggos and the geese and maybe Pressure Hill over there for the sneaky creepy route and cameras, I guess.
And turrets and guards.
Oh yeah, fuck the guards. Turrets though, that's a good point.
Turrets are only a problem if we're spotted, but you know
Exactly.
they become a very large problem if we get spotted.
All right, and then the physical infill side, we've got the obvious past the smell chest as we go through the, and then really we just don't know what happens when we go under the tunnel. There's a big regular building on top of the lake there. That's right.
the size of the lake, it's about 5 meters all around to the next bit of land. So unless you fucking yeet with the force of 1,000 suns, you probably won't jump it. But hey, I'm figuring out that you can make characters in Shadowrun that can just jump.
Anyway, yeah, I think I just really want to know what the inside of this building and or the inside of that hill looks like.
I'd agree with that.
So let's see. We know about one. What was it? R7 hub.
That is correct. Yes.
I guess I also want to know about the cleaning company because that seems like the most feasible.
Yep, I'm gonna have to agree with that one.
Because if y'all hide in the back, Kit can probably get us through if we have plausible seeming evidence.
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of evidence to get into this facility.
I mean, you might be surprised. What we need is a cleaning schedule, and it sounds like we have a vehicle that, at least on the outside, can look right. We need to know what their logo looks like because I have an Ares Industrious, and they probably use Ares Industrius's Industrii.
Mm-hmm. Well, if we can do that, that is a very efficient way.
But yeah, like the issue is I think the hard part of at least the infiltrate part of that plan is we'd probably need to quietly take out a Mercury Industrial Cleaning vehicle and then roll up when they're supposed to.
Yes, I think we can confidently do that.
Now, once we get inside, probably not so easy, but it's a distinct possibility that the Mercury industrial host will be easier to crack and still have at least the bare bones basics of what the cleaning crew needs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might want to do some research on the cleaning crew and what they're assigned. They might also have a host as well.
I mean, they'll almost certainly have a host. So there's a few things that I still would like to do before we actually do anything on site, which is mostly tied around doing more searches. But I can
Agreed.
also, like, an R7 host isn't impossible for me to get into. It's tricky and, like, will probably be resource intensive, but if need be, I can probably get in there and futz around with some of their security setup.
I mean, I'm not the decker in this run, so I'm not going to tell you how to matrix. If you're confident for R7 hosts, go for it, my dude. My decker is shit, so I can't tell you if that's reasonable.
I mean, did you see how I'm dressed? Confidence is like...
Confidence is key.
It
All
is.
right, you said you wanted to do some data searches.
Yeah, but I'm going to go into, like, T6s, so whenever I start doing that, Frosty is going to be locked up in a room somewhere for a very long time. So is there anything you need me to do before I go hole up and data mine?
Yeah, just get us the information we need.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start with A, looking into this Mercury cleaners. Mercury Industrial Cleaning. First things first, perception to find...
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and get out of the club and just go cruise around in my van while I'm doing this.
Right, you spot it on the host. It is
Okay.
basically in the form of 2 spray bottles crossed over a sheet, and the tagline is, "We protect you from germs."
Nifty. Okay, so I've got their host. Their host is definitely... is that just... That's probably also a data host, I'm assuming.
Mhm.
Okay. I want to get some information about them, so I'm going to start with a T3 on who they are, and then I'm going to go T6.
Mercury Industrial Cleaning
T6.
is a cleaning company owned by the Ares Macro Technology Corporation. It is a large cleaning corporation that does a lot of corporate sort of stuff. So they don't do like maids and all that stuff. They do, we will disinfect shit. They tend to have a lot of drones handle this as well, but they do hire good old-fashioned Americans to handle it as well.
Okay. Other T6s I'm interested in. Tony Bahama is the one that we think is kind of sketchy in their list, right?
Yep. So you want to look into him?
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to get some deep info on him, and probably Laura. Laura seems like the odd woman out in that list.
But you do your T6, and you look into Tony Bahama, and you start like losing it, and you can't find anything. Like he keeps talking about how, you know, capitalism's bad, and how, you know, people should sort of like focus on the environment, and he talks about how Chicago is one of the biggest ecological disasters on the North American continent in like centuries and all that kind of shit. It was weird. He works for Ares.
Oh shit! I know. Okay, one sec.
You rolling conspiracy theories again?
Maybe.
Good. Yes.
I'll also get you a picture of him because he's
Alright, I'll feed that into Mona Lisa and see if it comes up with any other IDs.
God. This is perfect. So this is what he looks.
I might
Good.
steal that look as well as the name for my next sin.
That is amazing.
The weed tie-dye shirt. Mmm.
Yeah. So he looks like that, and like he's got the grotty mustache. He's got the really long hair. He wears tie-dyed shirts, which he says he buys from all natural sort of vendors who grow it from the earth themselves, and he's weirdly ecologically focused.
So what's the over/under? He's in the Vogel camp.
Pretty fucking. A pretty good guess. I'd put money on that.
Who's this?
Arthur Vogel. Does anyone here have corporate politics and or corporate personalities?
I have
Aries
corporate
person.
politics.
Roll it.
I can keep all those.
Oh. Well, Arthur Vogel, a dwarf in his 60s, owns the largest controlling share in Ares. He is the executive director of Ares and holds the office of treasurer of Ares Global Holding. Where he got the money he needed to buy up a full fourth of Ares, though, is a mystery. And many wonder if he's just a puppet dancing behind someone else's strings. Before joining the board, he was an eco-lawyer with ties to the activist group Sierra Incorporated, and he ran in the 2057 UCAS presidential race against Dunkozan, the Great Dragon. Vogel has since taken the corp to task in an effort to make Ares as green and environmentally friendly as possible. Most of the measures he's introduced can be easily ignored or sidestepped, but it's the thought that counts. He had a closer relationship with young Nick Aurelius, which, much to Damien Knight's chagrin, often allowed him to influence Nick's votes on the boardroom. Many speculate that Damien Knight's rivalry was the real culprit for an assassination attempt that nearly claimed his life at the LA Environmental Summit in 2074. But others speculate that Vogel's failure to make Ares truly eco-friendly, despite years of campaigning, earned him enemies of a different sort. He spent years of recuperation at Ares Daedalus Station and chose to remain there even after receiving a clean bill of health. However, now he has come back down from his perch in the sky and visited mere mortals. Vogel is somewhat of an obsession with the technology behind the augmentations that kept him alive and mobile after the assassination attempts, and market watchers were anticipating new announcements regarding Ares' cyber and Bioware product lines until Arthur Vogel was declared missing in action in the year 2079 when a group of terrorist agents attacked the Detroit Ares HQ and blew up one of the shareholder meetings. Vogel was not amongst them, but was nowhere to be seen and has not been seen in years.
That was only 2 years ago.
I mean, that is years.
Yeah.
You're-
more than
2 years
You're-
is years.
You're
It's a
not
plurality
wrong.
of years. And I just realized I had my psych checked off, so I'm going to roll addiction because I've apparently been on psych this entire
You took your Adderall some point during the hacking fad.
Look, it gets hazy when I'm on or off the psych, so
God.
Do a real drug like Nero, coward. Don't you want gibbering visions?
still not addicted to psych.
I genuinely would add Oniro to the list of things Mr. Creepy's probably going to be addicted
Oh,
to.
he could make
If-
legitimate use of it, especially if he gets the ritual.
Yeah, but if he gets the ritual, then he might as well just fucking do the ritual.
Doing the drug is actually just better. It's so much faster.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're
weird.
right.
All
But,
right.
but then I need to build into the ritual, and that's just not what I want to do.
So I think you're not addicted to psych. So yeah, you didn't
Yeah.
find any more information about Tony Bahama. Just his pic. Fuck, that headband is
Interesting.
great.
And that picture didn't ping any other IDs. It just comes back as Tony Bahama.
Comes back as Tony Bahama. You also notice that he is very pro vocal on his sort of Matrix social media. He reposts a lot of Sierra Incorporated materials, and he says he would have voted for Vogel if he was allowed to back in the day, because the guy's like 27, so he's not actually old enough to have had voted. He would have been like 3, I want to say.
Okay. I guess my next step is to saddle up and ride into that cleaning hose.
Okay, yeah, so you can you're in the emerald grid. You see like the obsidian sky overhead, and looking a bit further, you see the 10 different mega corporate grids all screaming advertisements at you. You lock eyes with this corporate host. What do you look like on the Matrix?
Yeah, Frosty's persona in direct congruence to his actual appearance is a tall, lean cowboy, and matching. He looks straight out of The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. He's got matching black duster, nice vest, pants. Got his 6-shooter on his hip. No matter which way you look at him, though, his hat's always tilted so you can't see the face of the persona.
Love it. So, how are you hitting this host? Quiet or loud?
Gonna sneak on up and stab my way through with a Bowie knife. So I'm gonna hit it with a hack on the fly.
All right, let's see it.
Just do a quick configuration here, and this is a host.
It is indeed a host.
Sorry, that rolls hack on the fly.
Okay, you roll on up to this host, and do you have baby monitor run?
I do. I am running Baby Monitor, Exploit Stealth, Toolbox. I have Agent running, but I'm not bringing it with me, so give me a sec to switch that up.
Yep, all good. Because you're not running, because you are running baby monitor, I'll pop up the turn order and put your Overwatch score there, so you can track it in real time, and I won't be GM rolling it. It'll just be open, because you can check it. All right, you stab it with a Bowie knife, and cuts in deep, and you sort of pull it down, and it opens like a curtain flapping in the wind. You can
Cut it
wander
like
on
a tent and sneak on in.
Exactly. And you sort of enter in to effectively what looks like the interior of a washing machine. Water is everywhere, spraying you with suds, and it seems like the bubbles are icons of some description. Some are devices, some are files, and as you sort of scope around, you see that articles of clothing inside this giant washing machine are the users, the personas, if you will. So as a cowboy, you're
Okay.
sneaking, you're kind of like invisible because you're running silent. And yeah, what would you like to do?
First things first, gonna look around.
Okay, you may ask me some questions.
For starters, are there any personas in here that are not an AR? Do we have any like VR people?
It doesn't look like there's anyone in VR at the moment. There might be a few, but like you look at them and they're just on console.
Sure. Ice running in here.
There is Patrol Ice.
Okay. Any nested hosts in here?
There is not a nested host.
Okay. I'm gonna start poking around looking for their files. Now, to preface this, I have curiosity killed the cat.
Understandable. This is one of the smaller like hosts. It's not going to have like secret information. And with your 8 hits on metric perception, actually roll me a matrix search to try and find the file you're looking for. Are you trying to find information about the bacteria tech facility?
So right now I just want to enumerate what their files are and see what's there. The big things that we're looking for is like their cleaning schedule. We probably need to know like we probably are going to need to know how we can ID ourselves as them if one of our options is to try and sneak in as them. But yeah, basically these kinds of things tied to bacteria tech.
Okay. So you effectively find a bunch of information for other companies as you're sort of like just scooting around, and you see that there's an employee records area where there's just that. There's like an inventory records where it's got like, I want to say the armory, but like for more boring shit. You scope it around and you find the like other corporations cleaning procedures and what they want, and then you eventually find Unlimitex. However, I will need 2 logic plus sleazes from you, as it takes a couple of seconds to try and find that information.
And this is the R5 host, and there's no spider, you said. So I'm okay.
Well, there's no one in VR. I didn't say there was no spider.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go with those, I guess.
Okay, can you just roll me Matrix Initiative?
Oh, goody.
The Patrol Ice get 6 hits on 10 dice.
Jesus.
Whack! Yeah, it's... Whew. Apologies for this. All right. Cool. So you are up first, Frosty, as you sort of wander around, and then you get splattered in the face with cleaning agent, and like, oh no, it's removed the stain of darkness and shadows. Your cowboy suit is now white as a sheet, and you sort of are standing out in the middle of this, and like, oh no, as a large bubble starts floating over you to try and capture you inside of it.
Yeah, so about that, I'm gonna shake out a poncho and I'm gonna hide. Warrants intuition.
And what is this resisted by?
Intuition and data processing.
Int plus DP. Cool.
Oh, I'm gonna quick config to throw on smoke and mirrors too, so it's harder for them to look for me.
Okay, so you'll be trying to hide from the probe ice, which is launched, and the patrol ice.
Its hide is going to put me back into Run Silent, where they don't see me. They'll have to find me again if I succeed.
Yep, but you have to hide from both, which you can do, but you just have to. Both of them get a chance to resist you hiding. Effectively.
Oh wait, the hub rule on Smoke and Mirrors is it only works for Trace Icon?
No,
Or
but
will
you just gives you slays.
Oh, so I've been told different things by different GMs. So
that tends to happen. I just say it gives you slays, but the -5 is just not reducible by
not cancelable.
Yeah,
All right, I'm gonna just take 2 because I just need a little bit more.
Yeah, so you can use this to make a target lose you. 2 targets currently have you. If you succeed, the target stops spotting you, and you need to perform a matrix to find you again. There's no marks on you. Oh, good.
And oddly enough, that is a sleaze action, so that will generate Overwatch.
So you disappear as the ice goes over to you, and like the suds are coming at you, and then you just disappear. You like effectively turn your white cowboy suit so white it just blends into nothingness, and suddenly you're back in a grimy cowboy outfit, hiding from these these cheeky patrol ices. So probe can't do anything. The bubble starts going over to you, but misses where you were because it can't see you anymore. So I'll need another logic plus sleaze as the matrix perception of the ice will try and spot you. Yeah, you easily avoid the all-seeing eye of the soap. The spider is going to be like, funk, pops in, and the spider appears as effectively an angel. He goes against the actual sort of design of the heart of this sort of like host because he can. He's going to look around and go, "What was that noise? Can I get another logic plus sleaze from you?"
Yes, sir.
You're fine.
All right.
Okay, Frosty, you're back up.
Yeah.
You have spotted that file, by the way. It's the cleaning procedures for Unlimited Tech, or Bacteria Tech, I should say.
Okay. Is that the cleaning procedures or the cleaning schedule?
Cleaning procedures will also include the schedule.
Okay.
Sort of the
is it a protected file?
It is not a protected file. It's not encrypted or anything, but you would still need to hack it off the host to access.
Right, yeah. I just need to know if I need to try and like disarm it or something before I start messing with it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sneak up on that file and give it the old stab.
Okay, slice into its back. So you're trying to see this like sud appear, like a bubble, and try and grab it. I understand. Roll me a hack on the fly, or yeah, there we go.
Can keep all that.
Managed to successfully pop your mark onto the file. What does your mark look like?
So his mark when he's sneaking is he's literally just like stabbing Bowie knives into things. When he does his brute force, he fires at them with his pistol and leaves bullet holes.
So the bubble is now bleeding heavily, which is weird because it doesn't have an internal organ system. But
it's my paradigm.
Exactly. Can I get another logic plus sleaze twice to avoid the patrol eye? No, just once. Because the spider can't actually.
I am going to edge that.
Understandable.
That is not
okay. I rolled 5 hits, so you're good. Yeah. All right. Frosty, you're up.
I'm gonna go ahead and edit that file.
Ooh, cheeky. I like it.
I can keep 6 of that.
You are easily able to rip this file without being detected. And then I'm just going to say you can disconnect from this host because, like,
See, you're gonna say
no one
that.
is spotted. I'm going to make it true because I'm a benevolent GM and this is just a legwork host, and let's not get bogged down in a 9-hour Matrix combat for nothing. So you're able to jack
Next
out
time,
because all the
Spider. Next time.
all the probice could do is mark you, and all the spider was going to do is try and data spike you. So,
I was
So
gonna
you-
mark him and try and steal his contacts.
I mean, if you want to hang around, we can continue doing this. If
No,
you like.
it's fine. This is if there's not gonna be anything actually pertinent to the run on him, I don't really care. I'll just take this file and run.
Yeah, there might be, but you might come back later when it's quieter. So you look at the file and start going through it. Bacteria tech are very, very meticulous when it comes to cleaning, and they need a lot of it. Because the manufacturing line they have is pumping out like massive vats of fluorescent astral bacteria, they need a lot of vats cleaned. But they also don't want to have anyone potentially contaminating that. So Mercury Industrial Cleaning provides drone-based cleaning and sends out a rigger with a bunch of cleaning drones out there occasionally to ensure that all the drones are working fine, that they're properly disinfected, and that everything is good to go. This rigger is just whoever they can have out at hand. There is no relationship between the two. And
Okay.
it can be anyone from Mercury. Usually it is someone who has access to the drones, and they let him in to clean all the other stuff, and they don't let him into the secret areas, but they make him clean the drones for what is going on in the secret areas. They're very polite, and they keep an eye on them at pretty much all times because you never know when someone's trying to sneak in as a janitor. They have noted in the file that the security guards have been complaining about the noise of the drones, specifically the vacuuming drones as well, because they also offer regular office cleaning because there's also just offices here for HR and accounting and all that kind of stuff. So you're actually able to get a weird semi-floor map from this, but you know that they would like a quieter drone system because they say it can interrupt with trying to hear intruders, and the fucking cleaning company is like, you've never been attacked, fuck off. But they haven't said that.
Okay.
So from this facility sort of cleaning procedures, you know that the first floor or the ground floor is reception and lobby, which also has a distribution and packaging center and a cafeteria on it. So that's where a lot of cleaning drones happen, and they make sure it's dusted, it's cleaned, that the food is, the bins are taken out and all that kind of stuff, and the lobby looks nice. You also know that there's like no door into the facility from the ground level, I guess. You have to go underground to get to it. The second floor is general office. The third floor is general office. The fourth floor is general office. 5 to 8 is manufacturing. 9 to 11 is off limits sterile zone. 12 is general office. 13 is off-limit general office. 14 is general office. 15 is just off-limits. And so is 16, 17, and 18. Just off-limits.
Okay. The drones that they use for the cleaning, they stay on site though between visits, so they're just always in there circling around on their.
Depending
whatever
on
their
if there has been a spill. If there has been a spill in manufacturing or in the distribution packaging center and they need immediate drones over there, they can bring some more sort of like cleanup drones.
Do they have like a direct connection like to a sensor there, or does somebody from the site call them and say, we had a spill, come clean it up?
Someone from the site would have to call them and say, we've had a spill, we need emergency cleaning supplies, and then they would send the nearest available cleaning engineer to clean up. That's what they call this, like their cleaning riggers. They call them like hygiene engineers.
Oh, like sandwich artists.
Exactly.
All right. Go ahead and pass all that information on to the rest of the team, then I guess. So they don't leave the drones on site, though. They bring them out every time they get called.
It's a mix. So some of them they do, some of them they don't. They
Okay.
bring the bacteria cleaning drones because they're specialized to handle anything that needs sterilization. They bring them from head office because those are like
Alright.
effectively clean straight
question-
off the factory.
Sorry.
The office ones are those large, chunky, sort of like multiple cleaning drones that are just like giant vacuum cleaners that collect bins and put them into there. You could fit like 2 dwarves or 1 cramped human in there.
All right. So do those drones that are already in the office communicate back to the cleaning company, or do they just run on their internal pilots until somebody goes out there and takes control and does stuff?
They run on the internal pilots until someone goes out there and does stuff. They don't need to program super much to have cleaning. That's very dog.
Okay. Well, if we get a hold of one of their RCCs, we should be able to, use them for at least surveillance.
Yeah, might be able to rig something up.
You also get a list of people who they've sent out to that facility. Very
Oh.
rarely do people ever show up more than like as in a row. Very rarely is it the same person.
Sure. Yeah, the only other thing that I'm thinking about, and now that I'm out of the host, it really doesn't matter, but should probably need to get the employee list so that we can get their comp.
Yeah, you can get their public. So this is one of those situations where looking too deep at the matrix makes it break.
Mhm.
How do phones work? So if you were to effectively find out who would send out the call and have like a watchdog mark on them or something, you would be able to quickly hit them with the 1-2 and then masquerade as the other person picking up, diverting their call to you. And they would be calling the host, and then one of their nearest available sales operators would pick up and then talk. But for hackers, you can potentially either know when they're going to sort of call by just watching them, or have a watchdog mark on them so you know what they're going to do before they do it, because that's the Matrix allows you to see into the future, apparently. And then hit them with a masquerade.
See, I don't need Oniro.
We might take a 10-minute break here.
Sure.
We'll be back at 1/2 because I need to eat food as well. And take a bio break, chill. Feel free to plan stuff in the background or just mumble violent thoughts. Do whatever you want
Like that?
40
Yeah.
kilograms of
Cool.
plastic.
Drive through building. Yeah. The usual.
Oh god, have you tried to drive through this and you just land in the fucking jellyfish pond?
Fuck the jellyfish, I can jump this.
Gonna press X to doubt.
I can make it, homie. I drove through a hospital. I can do anything.
Ringers. I love him so much.
It's great.
Still say you should have loaded the Roadmaster into a helicopter, crashed the helicopter into the hospital, and then driven out.
Hey, rotor powertrain upgrade is only 60,000.
Fuck.
The runners on my weekly game, for a brief moment, got rotors and ejection seats mounted onto their Roadmaster. Then I asked them how they planned on using both of those systems together, and they decided to,
Eject
Not go with
down,
that.
eject down.
Hey,
See, but that runs into problems if you're trying to eject while normal driving. That's how you eat asphalt.
Yeah,
Go fast, eat asphalt.
pretty much.
See, eating asphalt's much less fun than eating ass.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, good times.
Oh, I always enjoy an opportunity to do dumb Valonia things, and this has been good so far.